Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 28th, 2018. I'm out working in the eastern garden plot today. And fall has actually started here in the northeastern part of the states. And when the leaves start falling, I think about that's an ideal time to do some transplants. Now this is early in the fall time, but the leaves are already falling in the thornless honey locusts. Now we have black locusts and we have the thornless honey locusts as well. We've had the thorny honey locust for several years, and I'm a big fan of this tree. It really gives you dappled shade. There's a whole variety of different cultivars of the thornless honey locust. We have some of the golden ones, the bright yellow ones. We have shade masters. We have a whole different group of different ones. They work really great in the food forest for chopping and dropping, but even if they get pretty darn big, for the most part they don't cast so much shadow that you have to worry about your fruit trees and nut trees getting adequate airflow or adequate sunlight. They really don't obstruct that very much, and we've got some quite large ones here on site, and they're very forgiving. They're hardy trees. So we live in a very high wind zone, heavy snow loads. Now when they're small, when they're under 3 foot tall, they may not survive the winter because, you know, the snow will be compacted this deep in right where we live here. And so they'll get bent over and all, and then they'll shoot up again. But it can be a few years for them to get to the point where they're completely sticking out of the ground. And that's where we're living, in a very heavy snow load. They're flexible enough that the high winds really doesn't snap them very often at all. Now our black locusts, they will snap under the high winds. One of the things that they do is they really send out tremendous lateral roots in these high wind areas. So the more that the tree and the top of the tree gets bent from side to side, they really send out these lateral roots for quite a distance. And they do go very deep as well. So that really makes them hardy for these high wind zones. And they can actually stabilize some of the trees around in your food forest as well. So if you've got high winds, this is a tree that I think is worth incorporating. They're one of the first ones to drop their leaves in the fall. They're one of the latter ones to put their leaves on in the springtime. The bees love them, all the pollinators. They're really, really great to have around. The fragrance from the honey locust is just knock your socks off. I really love it a lot. And the reason I'm mentioning it today is, well, this hoop trellis that we have that we grow beans on, this is our long one in the eastern garden plot. The western garden plot I haven't gotten to yet. I haven't done the beans yet over there. And so yesterday I started cleaning up around here. I'm going to be adding more compost to the sides of this, and this is right underneath that honey locust right up there. And that's right over our eastern garden plot. It's always depositing nice leaves, and this year instead of composting them, leaves and the seed pods, and these make these great big seed pods, which are absolutely wonderful, and lots of nutrients if you're going to compost those seeds. And certainly there are many animals that will eat the seeds as well. And I used to take the seeds and put them in milk jugs. I guess they're half-gallon cardboard ones. Poke holes in the bottoms, cut off the top, put some soil in it, put the couple seeds in there, and every year I'd have a whole bunch of them and I'd give a bunch away. Now I'm just too busy to do that sort of thing. So right along the fence line, since this is under the honey locust tree, well, the seeds will germinate, and I wait until they're 2 to 3 years old, and then I pull them up. And I've recorded a little bit of GoPro footage of the technique that I use. I use vice grips, which are locking type of pliers, to wrap around the trunk, and I use a heavy tined fork to help loosen up the soil some as well, and I grab a hold of the base of it. And it's really important to get a good pair of locking vice grips on it. So yes, it does damage the cambium layer of the tree some, but you don't want to have whatever it is that you're grabbing a hold of it with to be too loose. You want it nice and tight, so it's only going to damage the area that's being compressed or compacted. It isn't tearing the cambium away. And we do very well. So in the back of Pepe here, these are some of the trees that I pulled out, and they're all different ages. There's some that are just this year, which I probably won't even bother with. I might stick them up around a couple of the ponds, but any place that I really want the trees, I'll use the ones that are at least 3 foot tall or taller. And if they come up with a bunch of the soil, awesome. Some of them end up being bare roots. Some of the roots I'll have to prune some because they're too darn long. And I certainly prune the sides of the trees as well. The other thing I would say is all of the new shoots, all of the new seedlings that come up, the new trees that come up from the seeds from a thornless honey locust, aren't guaranteed to be thornless. So every once in a while you get a thorny, they'll revert back to their original genotype or phenotype, where they're going to have thorns. And they might be different lengths and all. So if you don't want the thorns, keep a close eye on them as they're emerging, and realize that it's not unusual for there to be some phenotypic variations and get some of these thorny ones re-emerging, developing from the seeds that you plant. So there'll be a little bit of GoPro footage of me just going ahead and pulling up the some of these trees, putting them back at Pepe. Then I'll just go and dig some holes in some of the locations that I want to put them in, and that'll be that. So if you found this video of any value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. And if you have comments or questions, please leave them below. And by all means, folks, have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye now.